The prerequisites, you need either Orchestrator 914 or 920 or higher, and ECOS 83020. So where to find this feature? It's under configuration, infrastructure as a service, deploy cloud apps in GCP. The first thing is you need to create a Google Cloud project. If you already have an existing project, you can deploy the Edge Connect inside that, but we typically recommend that you create a new one and just dedicate it for the Edge Connect deployments. Then you will be enabling a couple of APIs in your Google Cloud project. And also you'll be creating a custom role in Google Cloud and attach certain permissions into that custom role. So why do you need to create this custom role? It's because like this is the custom role that gets assigned to what's known as a service account in Google Cloud. And this service account information is eventually get added to the orchestrator so that orchestrator can perform these tasks on behalf of you to deploy the Edge Connect in Google. So the first task, you can create a new project in Google Cloud by going to this like navigation menu, then going to IAM and admin, click create a project. Then you just fill out this information to create your new project. After that's done, you will see your project in the list of existing projects that you have already created. First of all, you need to enable an API called Compute Engine API, and then you'll be enabling the Cloud Resource Manager API. And you do this from the Google Cloud Console. It's pretty straightforward to do this. So the first one, API and services, then go to library, and then you'll see this API library. If you start typing Compute Engine API, you will see this page, and it's pretty straightforward to enable this API. Next up, you have to like repeat the same steps to enable the second API, which is known as the Cloud Resource Manager API. And you go to library. Here you type Cloud Resource Manager API, and then you'll be enabling this API. The third step is to create a custom role and attach the permissions. So there are two ways to do this. You can either use the Google Cloud Console to create this custom role and add permissions, or you can use Cloud Shell, which is the CLI that's available on the Google Cloud Console to create the custom role. We recommend that you use the Cloud Shell, and I explain you why. It's because it's much easier for you to run a single CLI command to create this instead of having to add each permission manually. But first, I'll explain how you do this using the console. To do that, you again go to the navigation menu on the Google Cloud Console, go to IAM and admin, click roles, and then you will be hitting the create role button. And so at this point, you need to know like what permissions to include in this new role that you are going to create. So this is the new role that you create. You enter a name for it, and then at this point you will be start adding new permissions. And to find these permissions, you can go back to the orchestrator. Like we are going to list these on the same location under the GCP account configuration page on the orchestrator, and it'll look something like this. So currently there are 20 permissions that the orchestrator requires to deploy an Edge Connect instance. So the issue with like creating these permissions or assigning these permissions to the custom role from the console is that you have to enter these one at a time and add them to the custom role. Um, it can take like 5 to 10 minutes if you want to do this, but a faster way to do this is to use the Cloud Shell. So if you can look at Cloud Shell at the top of the screen on the Google Cloud Console. When you click on this, it'll open up this Cloud Shell menu. And if you if you paste this CLI command and include the permissions, which I'll show on the next slide. So the stuff that's shown in green are the 20 permissions, and you are using this same CLI command to create the role as well as assign the permissions to the role. So if you use this, this is another screenshot of the same command. It'll create this role for you on the Google Cloud Console. It's much easier than like typing those 20 permissions on the console. And then if you click on that role, you will see the 20 permissions. And then the next step is to create a service account. So this service account is what gives the permission to the orchestrator to instantiate an Edge Connect instance. And to create a service account, again, you'll be clicking on the navigation menu, I am an admin, service accounts, and click create service account. And you enter this information and click create and continue. So this is the role that you have created either using the console or the CLI earlier. You will be assigning this role to this service account. And once that's done, the final step that you need to do is to create this new JSON key. And it's pretty straightforward to do that. You just click create new key and it will download a JSON file like this onto your laptop. And you just copy and paste all the content of this file and paste it on the keys tab on the key field on the orchestrator, and that's all you need to do to add your Google Cloud account to the orchestrator. So at this point, once you click save, you will have a Google Cloud account that you can use for deploying your Edge Connect instance. Next, you'll go to the new deployment button on the orchestrator, which will open up this page. You will be selecting that previous account that you added into orchestrator and give it a name. Enter a /16 CIDR range. So this is an important point. We only accept a /16, and the reason for it is in Google Cloud, today the VPCs that you create in Google Cloud can span across multiple regions. So what that means is, like, for a global deployment of Edge Connect instances, in fact, you only need 3 VPCs. So like, let's say you start your deployment in California and you deploy 2 Edge Connect instances in California, and you do that from the orchestrator. So like when you do that, the orchestrator is going to create 3 VPCs for you: the management 0 VPC, the LAN 0 VPC, and the WAN 0 VPC. Like, let's say in the future, you want to deploy another couple of Edge Connects in, let's say, Singapore. So like what you need to do is you actually come back to the deployment page on the orchestrator and you select the Singapore region and just click create. Like, that's all you need to do. And the orchestrator is smart enough to deploy those two edge connects inside the same three VPCs that you created for your California deployment. So like even for a global deployment, you will not need more than 3 edge connect instances. But since the orchestrator will be creating multiple subnets, we need to make sure that like there are enough subnets inside that VPC for the orchestrator to create a lot of instances if that's the goal. Next, you'll be selecting the region where you're going to deploy the edge connects. Select boost if it's required, and select the WAN bandwidth of the edge connect. We list, so based on the WAN bandwidth you select here, we list the recommended instance shapes for that edge connect instance. And you'll be entering a single line SSH key here. So this is something that you create out of band. You can just create a key like using Parigen or something. And then like for a multi ECV deployment, if you need multiple ECVs in the same region, you just click plus add. You just click the plus button here, like which will open up this window here that shows that, okay, this is the second instance. And then it's important that you deploy each edge connect in a unique zone so that it can withstand a zone level failure in Google Cloud. After that's done, if you go to the deployment info page, it's going to show you the information, especially the subnet where the edge connectors, the NICs are deployed. As you can see, we create 3/26 subnets, like one for management zero interface, and one for WAN zero interface, and one for the LAN zero interface. The management zero interface and the WAN zero interface are assigned with public IP addresses. The LAN zero doesn't have a public IP. So once you are done, the orchestrator will show that the appliance is configuring, and this means that the orchestrator is rebooting the appliance and changing the mode from server to inline router. And once everything is done, you'll see the appliances as approved. And from this point onwards, it's pretty much like you are adding any other Edge Connect instance into your SD-WAN fabric. Like one main difference is that at this point, like your MAC addresses are fully assigned on the orchestrator, so you don't have to do this. And the deployment mode is set to inline router mode with the IP addresses already set. And the WAN 0 is set to stateful plus SNAT. And by like this time, this is how your topology will look like in your Google Cloud environment.